Hello people, this is Mark from KharisChangeWorks. Guys, hope that you are well. Short story, albeit that this is maybe a little bit of a longer one. I do believe that it's got some valuable lessons in it for us to effectively make some change, good change, positive changes for our benefit. It's a Buddhist story, so there might be a name or two in here that I might not be able to pronounce, but it doesn't matter. This one talks about awareness. Now, for you guys who know the channel, and by the way, if you're new, subscribe and share, tell all your friends, hit the like button, comment, you know what to do. All the YouTube admin, as I often refer to it. Back to the story. It talks about awareness. Now, I often say that awareness is the bedrock. It's the spine of change. Unless you become aware of things, your behavior, your thoughts, your speech, your actions, these things, nothing will change. Only when you become aware, you'll be able to change. There's a video on the playlist somewhere where I talk about the half-a-degree rule for change. There's a couple of videos as far as that's concerned, by the way. Go check it out. Back to the story. And I read. Simply called The Thief. There was one great master, a Buddhist master, Nagarjuna. A thief came to him. The thief had fallen in love with the master because he had never seen such a beautiful person, such infinite grace. The thief asked Nagarjuna, "Is there some possibility of my growth also? But one thing I must make clear to you, I am a thief. And another thing, I cannot leave it. So please don't make it a condition. I will do whatever you say, but I cannot stop being a thief. That I have tried many times, it never works, so I have left the whole sport. I have accepted my destiny that I am going to be a thief and remain a thief, so please don't talk about it. From the very beginning, let it be clear." Nagarjuna said, "Why are you afraid? Who is going to talk about you being a thief?" The thief said, "But whenever I go to a monk, to a religious priest, or a religious saint, they always say, 'Stop stealing first.'" Nagarjuna laughed and said, "Then you must have gone to thieves, otherwise why should they be concerned? I'm not concerned." The thief was very happy. He said, "Then it is okay. It seems now that I can become a disciple. You are the right master." Nagarjuna accepted him and said, "Now you can go and do whatever you like. Only one condition has to be followed. Be aware. Go, break into houses, enter, take things, steal, do whatever you like. That is of no concern to me. I am not a thief. But do it with full awareness." The thief couldn't understand that he was falling into the trap. He said, "Then everything is okay. I will try." After 3 weeks, he came back and said, "You are tricky, because if I become aware, I cannot steal. And if I steal, awareness disappears. I'm in a fix." Nagarjuna said, "No more talk about you being a thief and stealing. I am not concerned. I am not a thief. Now you decide. If you want awareness, then you decide. If you don't want it, then you too decide. The man said, "But now it is difficult. I have tasted it a little and it is so beautiful. I will leave anything, whatever you say." Just the other night, for the first time, I was able to enter the palace of the king. I opened the treasure. I could have become the richest man in the world. But you were following me, and I had to be aware. When I became aware, diamonds looked just like stones, ordinary stones. When I lost awareness, the treasure was there, and I waited and did this many times. I would become aware and I would become like a Buddha. And I could not even touch it because the whole thing looked foolish, stupid, just stones. What am I doing? Losing myself over stones? But then I would lose awareness. They would become beautiful again. The whole illusion. But finally, I decided that they were not worth it. There you go. The secret to life, the secret to change, the secret to self-improvement is awareness. I don't particularly care what your dilemma in the world is. I don't care how long it was for you to have struggled with your dilemma. I don't care whether you are clever, intellectual, or less so. Not interested. What I'm interested in is, how aware are you of your circumstances? How aware are you of the things that needs to change? How aware are you of who you are? How aware? You see, in this little story, the Zen master, the Buddhist master, couldn't care less about the thief's processes. He couldn't care less about what he stole or what he didn't steal. He wasn't interested. You see, the master knew a secret. The master knew that once the thief became aware, then things would change. It nearly seems to me that in the story, awareness becomes a parallel that what we would refer in the 21st century in the Western world as our conscious. This kind of compass that irritates us when we do wrong, or at least wrong according to our moral values and so on. Awareness is the thing that keeps the moral compass fixed north. So when your north is maybe altered in some way, when we do things that we know deep inside, and I mean deep inside, is not in line with our moral values, then our moral compass will agitate and irritate, because that's what its job is there for. So my friend, the solution to your dilemma is awareness. You see, I've made a video also that suggested that 75% or thereabouts is all mental process, but 50% or thereabouts of that portion is becoming aware of what is going on and what is wrong, what needs to change, not just within, but also what will change within and how that impacts society and our social circles and the people who we interact with on this plane called the world. There are so many people in today's society, and I've said this a few times now, that we are so concerned about, you need to change, not me, you. The world needs to change. Everything needs to change, except me. We've become so disillusioned with stuff. And we've become so happy and content in being idle and lazy. Particularly when it comes to self-improvement, awareness. You see, a lot of people couldn't care less on how their behavior affects other people. I mean, here I talk specifically about the knock. They don't care. But then you also get these other people who are not necessarily knock, but they simply don't care about what they do and what they say on how it affects others. Not interested. Because it's not their fault. It's knock-like, but not knock. So, my friend, the issue is, if I were to encourage you in any way, shape or form, it would be simply this. Raise your level of awareness regarding who you are. What are your moral issues? What are your moral compass settings, if I can say? What's your self-esteem like? What is your values? What is your beliefs? What is your identity? What are those things that make you, you, uniquely you? What are those things that irritate you? Why do they irritate you? What motivates you and why do they motivate you? This is an awareness exercise that I'm encouraging you to do. Because once you become aware, whether it be for the positive or for the negative, it makes no difference. You see, when you're finding out who you are from a positive point of view, what your identity is and what motivates you and what your beliefs are, and those kind of things. Once you become aware, you can continue doing those things because they're positive, they're helpful. If they build society, it's a thumbs up, isn't it? Really, let's be fair. However, on the flip side of that bad coin, it is also that once you become aware of how your behavior affects others, and if it's for the negative, for destruction, and it's not who you truly are, it's not what motivates you, then you can also change that. I have referred to the Nile as in denial. And how many of us are so happy and content to play in denial, live there? We're happy. Because you see, my thoughts are that once you're in denial, you can manipulate people to feel sorry for you whilst you're in denial. You see, lack of awareness. Because denial is simply it's a cut-off point where you skip from reality into fantasy. It's a gate, I believe denial is. And once you go through that gate, that door, that passageway, call it whatever you want, once you climb through it, when you pass through it, and you go from reality into fantasy, and you engage in this activity called denial, believe me, nothing ever changes. Now, quite frankly, I couldn't care less about what's going on outside of my sphere of influence. I am more concerned about who I am on the inside, and I need to change me in terms of who I am. And then once I am becoming more congruent about who I am and what I'm doing, only then will I start influencing rather than being influenced. In the same situation with a little story, this is the Buddhist master had full awareness, and the thief had to learn that. I pray that your mates, your friends, your family act like the Zen master, this Buddhist master, and offer you the most kind and loving information and support by saying, become aware. Become aware. We should never ask, how did that happen? Ooh, where did that come from? Once we become aware of what we're doing, particularly when it comes down to the negative things, those destructive things, then we can turn around and say, ooh, I had a role to play in that. My fault, albeit maybe just in part. Then things change. When things have changed, you look back at who you were and you see a better, more improved version of yourself. Then, just like the thief, he looks at those diamonds and they just appear as stones. But when he loses his awareness, the lure of valuable stones, those precious stones, becomes another trap to pull him back into a previous lifestyle. That's all I want to say. The choices we make based on our beliefs, based on our identity, based on our values, it's important not just to make them, but be aware of the reasons why we make them. It's a deep one, this one. I offer it for you to ponder. That is the story for today. I hope it brings something that enriches your life. Like I said in the beginning of this shortish video, please share and subscribe. Comment, hit the like, hit the bell, pick all this YouTube stuff, all this admin stuff. Tell all your friends and family. This is a good channel. But for now, this is Mark from KharisChangeWorks, and I'll speak to you soon.